Okay, we'll just do that for now.
Hi, I'm Danny Bonaducci, and you are watching Gov's Radio. This is where you go if you want to see something or if you want to hear something funny. Coming up in just a couple minutes, this is a joke I told. What? I'm not on Gov Radio? Call the police. Call my agent.
Hey, how do you say there, people? It's Johnny Brennan, creator of The Jerky Boys, also of Fox TV's Family Guy fame. I just want to let you know you're listening to Tony and Sallie on the Knockem Dead radio show. They're gonna keep knocking them dead, so keep listening, you wacky sons of bitch. Right there. Over and out there, sweet.
Little roller up along first, behind the bag, it gets through Buckner, here comes Knight and the Mets win it!
Hello, Tony. Mookie Wilson here, 1986 Mets. How you doing? Long time no see, man. Hey, man, I miss you guys, man, that Knockem Day Comedy Radio, man. I miss you. I wish I was still up there, man. But I'll wait till it warm up a little bit, and hopefully this year things will be a little bit better, man. But when we're talking about comedy, hey, the early years of Mets was a lot to laugh about. You had to make a lot of comedy off those guys. Hey, hope to see you guys during the summer, and hopefully get back on the show, man, at some point in time during the course of the year, all right? All right? Yeah, fine. Contact me, man. All right, Tony. Talk to you later.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Knockem Dead Comedy Podcast, coming at you live from the legendary Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown, New York. Good morning, Jeff Bosi, who's watching. It is Thursday. It is September
15th.
You're saying that like that means something.
Because we've got a clock on the wall and it says 14th, and I never noticed that it was a day behind.
I never noticed that either.
Yeah.
That's very strange.
I was just kind of like, and then I was like, oh, it's not the 14th.
It's not. That's weird. Wonder when that happened. Good morning, John, who's watching us under the name Dawn Hunter, 1501. What does that even mean, John?
Dawn Hunter.
Does he like girls named Dawn?
Is he like a stalker? Like he's hunting them?
A dawn stalker.
The dawn of day. That's spelled the same way, right? Like, the dawn. So maybe he hunts the sun coming up.
He likes sunset, sunrise,
something. Hey, everyone.
Thanks for joining us today here on Twitch. Please follow us and tell everybody you know about the show here. Send them over to the Twitch. Tell them about all the great shows here. Tell them to follow it. We're eventually going to move most of our shows over here. A few weeks. Wife and my dog and my shield number. So his wife is Dawn, his dog is Hunter, and his shield number was 1501.
Oh, okay, that makes total sense.
Hey, you know what? That's actually a great segue to a story I have.
Oh, dogs, wives, or
neither,
or on the job.
On the job, heroes like John.
Nice.
Huntington, New York, which is a town. We're in Levittown, New York. Huntington is northeast, maybe about 20 to 30 minutes from here.
On Long Island.
Up on the North Shore. Most of Huntington is a little bit of money. And they have some really nice restaurants up there. They have a great downtown.
Not everyone. We have friends that live in like Huntington, like a handful of friends, and they're just,
Well, that's why I said most.
Normal amount.
The Huntington Manor Fire Department captain, who ran into a burning home without protection to save 3 people's lives, was honored this past Tuesday. Captain Michael Colonna, Colonna. Colonna? Colonna. I'm going with Colonna because there's 2 N's. Captain Michael Colonna was presented with a proclamation by Councilman Salvatore Ferro. Colonna, on July 4th, was alerted to a fire on his block.
July 4th?
July 4th.
So it was like a 4th of July fire? Fireworks and stuff?
I don't know. Yeah, a fire on his block at 12:30 a.m. So, yeah, it probably is a fireworks-related thing.
Well, no.
Why
Well,
not?
maybe, because, like some people set fireworks off the day before. Because I was saying, 1 o'clock in the morning isn't, the 4th of July hasn't started yet.
You're right. So, technically, right. So, if it was...
But a lot of people,
Some people do it the night
they
before,
want to
you're right.
practice, and maybe it didn't go well.
Or it had nothing to do with fireworks.
Yes.
We don't know.
Okay.
He arrived less than a minute after the fire department was notified. Colonna radioed dispatch and then entered the house without the protection of any gear or hose line after he was made aware of 3 occupants still in the burning home. He escorted 2 residents out of the house and then carried a 3rd person who had collapsed from the smoke safely down the stairs and out through the door.
Wow.
So, well done, Captain Michael Colonna of Huntington. Yes, hero.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Just like John Rusiello is a hero. No doubt. I don't have any stories about John Rusiello, but he was on the job for, 31 years? Is that what you told us?
Yeah, I'm sure every week he had a story.
Absolutely. So there you go. So that's our first story of the day right there.
Okay. That sounds great.
What do you got?
Yeah, I was just trying to think, that's a story
yesterday.
In yesterday, it was my last back to school night.
Oh, John said, no, I'm not. Oh, you mean a hero? Yeah, you are.
Yeah, just shut up, John.
So it was your last back to school night.
Yeah, so
because your son is a senior.
My son is a senior.
The youngest is a senior.
Yeah. So it was the last, and he even told me, he goes, not a lot of parents are going. I'm like, well,
Baloney.
why?
Baloney, I say.
And he goes, well, yeah, because you're a senior now, so, parents aren't all that involved anymore. I'm like,
And were there a lot of parents?
yeah, I would say maybe a little bit less than normal. Like
Really?
normally like 10th grade or like 7th grade, the parents are like standing against the
Oh,
wall
yeah.
because there's one child and a lot of times two parents go and there's just not enough seats. And so, when people start middle school, I think it's a big deal. So, I mean, he was right in a sense. But for me, I just kind of like if he's telling a story about a teacher, I like to visualize what they look like and stuff and meet them. I always like to go.
I would assume there'd be more parents because for that reason, that it's the last one. So the parents are like, oh, this is the last one.
Do you think people think that way though? Like I think
Yes.
you and I are different that way.
Oh, we're definitely different.
Yeah, but I know like towards the end of the summer, every friend I have cannot wait for the kids to go back to school. And one of the things that I really loved about you was like you were sad when the kids went back to school too,
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Most parents are like, get out.
Yeah, most parents are like, what summer camp can I stick my kids in?
Yeah. Well, I'm like, shit, they're going back today. Damn it.
I know. But anyway, so it was an interesting night. And one thing that was kind of like a little bit of a drag is to find out more about Kevin's life. Because he takes difficult classes, and for example, one of the classes that he's in, it's physics, but it's not Regents physics. It's AP physics. So
That's the really smart people.
yeah, he's in all the smart kid classes. So and the teacher said, he's like, yeah, sorry, the last few years, this is how it's went. And he's like, it's awful. There's no other way to say it. The first semester of physics is, I don't know, mechanics, electrical mechanics and stuff. And then the next semester are, who knows, magnetic, whatever. Who cares? Like two different major subjects. And because I guess when you go into college, you're like physics 1, physics 2.
Right.
So they set it up that way. But get this, because he said he started out the conversation by saying that the test for this is May 4th. So May 4th, he's got to go into a gym and take the physics AP test.
Right.
But he's got to take the first part. That's a 3-hour test, a 15-minute break,
Yeah.
and then the second semester part, same day, 6 hours. A 6-hour test.
Well, that's a lot. So may the 4th be with him that day.
You've been waiting for 5 seconds to say that joke.
As a matter of fact, I have.
I saw it all over your face.
Yep.
And he said, because he also said, he's like, so May 4th, that's what they're going to do. He goes, and you might notice that I have your kids for a class and a half every day. Like remember when we were kids, we'd have biology and then every other day, but then we'd have a bio lab.
Yes.
Well, they're not doing that. He's got the time for it, but he's not using it. And he's like, what I'm going to do, he goes, what I do, and he goes, and it's worked really well the last few years, is I use it to teach. I use that time for teach, not for labs. I do all the labs at the end of the year, and you think, wow, how is that not going to help? And he goes, but here's what happens in New York. In, he said, for example, in North Carolina, those kids start studying, those kids go back to school in August.
Right.
So they're a month ahead of us.
Right, because they got to take the test the same day.
They all have to take the test the same day in May 4th.
Right.
And then he goes, in most southern states don't have a February vacation, so now they're out another 2 weeks. He goes, so your kids are behind 6 weeks in everything that I have to teach. He goes, and I know at the end, he goes, once May 4th hits, none of your students are going to want to hear anything I have to say. Because
once they take the test, right, who cares?
Who cares? He goes, so what I do is everything that they need to know, I teach all the way through, and then when they don't want nothing to do with me after the test, we just have fun doing labs.
Right, so it'd be, 5 or 6 weeks of lab?
Just labs, fun labs. But
I mean, I guess it is a nice reward after taking those tests for 6 hours.
yeah, but it's just, sucky that, and that's just one class. It's like, it's so crazy with like testing these days. I mean, you hear like, why are we testing our kids so much? Like, why are we testing our kids so much?
Well, right. I agree. Honestly, I don't agree with AP classes, to be honest with you.
Right.
It's putting too much on the kids.
It's way too much. And
They're college level courses, so take them in college.
right.
I hate to sound like, in my day, we walked uphill both ways. I hate to sound that way, but in this, I've talked about it many times on here. I'm not a fan of that type of thinking. When I was a kid, things were better, but in this case, I do think it was better. There's too much pressure on these kids. They're doing math in kindergarten, for crying out loud. Kindergarten when we were kids, was
We
half
learned
day
numbers and
first off.
letters.
Right. Maybe numbers and letters. It was mostly just fun time.
Finger paint.
And now it's, I don't know. I do feel there's a lot of pressure on the kids today. Plus, you got to throw in the social media, the pressures of social media. I don't know. I personally feel it has something to do with kids shooting up each other, because it wasn't like that when we were kids, man. We weren't shooting up our schools. So I don't know. Speaking of school, says Fremda, I remember how hot my health teacher was. Lucky for me, she graded me on a curve. Did you have a lot of hot teachers?
Just Mr. Ryan.
Hello, Kirsten. Emma's taking honors physics this year too. Don't know where this kid came from.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to take AP physics. Like, I barely made it through just regular blah blah physics,
forget it. Yeah, no way.
Yeah, and
Burp.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just felt bad about the whole thing.
I mean, he rocks it.
He does. I'm complaining and he's not complaining.
Right. True.
He doesn't complain about it.
And he does. He's what, in the top 2% of his class? What does that even mean? Top 2%? Doesn't that mean he's the second in his class?
No.
No?
No, I think there's probably like the top 1% would probably be 10 kids.
Oh, okay.
I'm just guessing. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I wasn't thinking right. See? That's because...
And that's another thing, like you were saying, how you don't agree with AP classes. Now I'm a little annoyed because 2 teachers mentioned yesterday, out of all the classes that I was in, 2 of the teachers mentioned that, because I always thought if Kevin took AP classes, that's a 3-credit class. When he goes to college, he doesn't have to take Physics 1 and Physics 2. So that's 6 credits he's saving.
All right. So you're saving time. He's saving time at college. You're saving money on college. I get that, but
Well, it
I
turns
still
out
think
that's
it's
not
too
even
much.
true.
Why?
Because one of the teachers explained that that's what he thought too, and his kids went off to college. But the
Yeah.
truth is that the colleges want your money, so they'll accept it. They'll say, okay, you don't have to take college writing 101 and 102, because like he's taking college writing. That's actually the name of the class. And so when he goes to school, he doesn't have to take writing 101 and 102. But the college is going to make him take, let's say, 16 credits a semester. Like you have to pay so much for a semester. So you have to take it. And so if he doesn't take 101 and 102, that just means he has to take a higher level English. So he's not...
So you're not saving time and money.
I always thought, I was under the impression that he'd be out of school because he has enough credits to graduate that he is almost through 2 years of college.
But
now I found out last night that that doesn't really matter.
right, so he's not going to get out of college 2 years earlier.
No.
So now you're just making me mad.
Now I'm mad. Like, I don't even know how to, bring it up.
And this makes me glad that my kids were not AP.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that the physics teacher said about it, because I said 2 teachers brought it up. The one physics teacher said, the good news is, if you're in physics, if you're in my class in physics, it's because you want to be an engineer, you want to go into some type of computer science, or you want to go, whatever difficult thing. He goes, so you're going to have to take it. He goes, for example, like Kevin's taking calculus. So he's going to have to take calculus in college. And college calculus is a lot more difficult than high school calculus. So when he goes to take it again, it'll make so much more sense. He goes, I will completely prepare you for the physics or calculus that you will be taking in college.
Why not just take the regular when you're in college when you're supposed to, instead of having all this pressure on you now as a high schooler?
Because maybe it's really difficult and it could mess up your first, year in college or something. I know. I'm mad about it too. I'm mad too.
John had hot. No way. He had nuns and brothers and priests. So I bet maybe they thought you were hot, John. Friender, it's a good thing there were no crazy kids in my school, because I got to tell you, physics taught me how to blow up a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Beansy, Twitch is giving me a bad twitch. Why? Everybody keeps telling us how easy it is to get it and see it.
Batipede was like, this is the easiest thing.
Or why not just start studying while in the womb like Chinese people? Exactly. We'll shove textbooks. We'll shove an iPad down your throat, or up your zippy.
Your yoo-hoo.
The babies can just start messing around then. You can watch YouTube. So yeah, what's the problem, Beansy? What's going on? I have a feeling the problem is not Twitch, if you know what I mean. All right, so get this.
What?
Fremder wonders if a book that gets shoved up there smells a little different than a library book. So here's a weird story for you.
Okay.
Got a couple of weird stories, actually. A fundraiser was launched in support of a teenage human trafficking victim who was ordered to pay $150,000 to the family of her accused rapist because she fatally stabbed him 2 years ago.
Did he? Oh, okay. Sorry. I almost asked if he died.
What happened? What'd you say?
You said fatally stabbed, and I almost asked if he died. I was like...
Forget the AP classes for you. So, Piper Lewis...
Oh, okay.
You have to get that, don't you?
No.
Oh.
It's just my car guy. He's going to tell me that my car is ready because I got an oil change.
But what if he tells you, maybe he's calling to say, I found something wrong with your car. Hi. Oh,
thank you
you're all
so
set.
much.
You're welcome. All right. Yes.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mike. Okay. Bye-bye. You were right.
I know, but you made me scared. I'm like,
sorry, I didn't mean to make you scared.
No.
So this woman named Piper Lewis.
Sorry to interrupt, because I didn't get an oil change in like 1,000 years.
Yes, you were way overdue.
Like way overdue.
Way overdue.
Yeah.
Way.
Yeah.
Overdue. Piper Lewis, 17, charged with first-degree murder. Sentenced.
17?
Well, she was a victim of human trafficking, and she killed the man that did it. She was sentenced Tuesday in an Iowa court to 5 years closely supervised probation, ordered to pay $150,000 restitution to the family of 37-year-old Zachary Brooks. She fatally stabbed him in June of 2020. She was a runaway who sought to escape an abusive life with her adopted mother, found herself sleeping in the hallways of a Des Moines apartment building when a 28-year-old man took her in but later forcibly trafficked her to other men for sex. She was 15 years old when she stabbed Brooks more than 30 times after allegedly being repeatedly raped by him in the weeks leading up to the incident. Police and prosecutors have not disputed that Lewis was sexually assaulted and trafficked, but prosecutors have argued that Brooks was asleep at the time he was stabbed and not an immediate danger to Lewis. Give me a break.
That's awful. And this adoptive mother, like, that's just it. Like, she had no one to support her. Like, no one got a great lawyer
Right.
probably to help her out.
The 150 grand restitution was mandatory under Iowa law.
If you kill someone, you have to give their family 150 grand.
I guess so. So in less than 48 hours after this sentencing, Iowa residents looking to support the teen managed to raise more than double what she owed to her alleged rapist family, more than $323,000 raised through over 8,000 donations by early Thursday morning.
Nice.
The top donation was $5 grand from an anonymous donor.
So she's 17 now?
Yeah. A former teacher of Piper's by the name of Leland Shipper. He started the GoFundMe page.
You know what concerns me?
No, what concerns you?
Well, since she's underage,
Yeah.
it's got to go to her mother. The piece of crap that, you know,
I wonder if...
dropped the ball.
That's a good point. I wonder if that's the case. I wonder if... Because, I mean, you're 17, you're legal. You have legal consent on certain things.
It'll go into a court trust.
Donations came all the way from places like France. So, good for her. Good for her that she killed this
No,
prick.
actually, maybe that's not true because it was a GoFundMe page. Like, it didn't come from a court. It didn't come from like a business. It came from like it's like
So the guy
people Venmo'd her.
Well, it didn't even go to her. I mean, it goes to GoFundMe, and she didn't start the GoFundMe. This other guy did, Leland Shipper.
Oh, so he has it.
So he gets it.
That's great.
So he can just...
He could wait till she's 18
Right.
and say, hey.
Or he can actually just go out and buy her the clothes or shelter or whatever it is she needs.
Nice.
I mean, over $323,000 has been raised so far. That's a nice chunk of change, man.
Well, half of that's gone. So it's just...
Right. Still.
At least she's debt-free.
She's got 170 grand still left over. Deservedly so. After what she's been through.
Yeah, I can't believe that.
And sorry, certain people, the whole idea of jail is to be, is to get rehab and to, become a better person. But there are certain things that, sorry, that people just deserve the worst.
Yeah. And who is... Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Who is this... like the guy that got stabbed?
Yeah.
Who is this family that are like, yeah, you'll have to give us money? Like, how do they sleep?
True. Right.
Like, who are they?
Right.
They should be...
If Zachary Brooks was part of my immediate family, I'd be giving her money.
Yeah.
And I'd be saying, screw him.
Yeah, they should take the 150 grand and put it right back into the GoFundMe page for this poor girl.
Beansy says, no, Twitch is easy. Hope all is doing well. Oh, okay.
Don't make us nervous like that, Beansy.
Fremder, so oil change is what they call it nowadays. Is it considered human trafficking if there's someone in your trunk while you're sitting bumper to bumper? Well, yeah, then it would be traffic.
It would be exactly that.
So it wouldn't be traffic if you're moving at 65 miles an hour.
Right.
That would be human transferring, human transporting. Or just be called a limo. Well, yeah, John Rusiello says, how would a 17-year-old even be expected to pay 150 grand?
Yeah.
That's a good way to go broke.
30 stabs, though.
From this says, I wouldn't trust anyone after that. Oh, because you said it would go into a trust. It's a good thing Leland's middle name wasn't Wood, says Frender. Wood Shipper. It is actually spelled Schipper. So you get rid of the S, and it is Wood Chipper.
You said pee-pee.
Yes. Yeah, so there are just certain people that sometimes the crime is just too big and too evil and too bad that you don't want to see them rehabilitated. You want to see them get what they deserve. And in this case, this man deserved to be stabbed 30 times.
30 stabs.
Because you figure, I mean, first of all, you trafficked one girl. That's bad enough.
Yeah.
But most likely, she wasn't the only one.
You don't think it was his first time?
I don't
28 years old?
No, he was 37 when she stabbed him. He started this with her when he was 28. That's when he first found her. So for 9 years, this was going on.
That doesn't make sense.
Why not?
Well, 15, 16, it's only 2 years ago for her. She started at 15.
No, she stabbed him when she was 15.
Oh, how long did it go on? That long? Oh, jeez.
Well,
I don't know.
yeah, she was a runaway, sought to escape an abusive life, found sleeping in the hallway by Brooks, who was 28 at the time. So yeah, so she was she was 6. She was
No, it can't be right.
She was 6?
It can't be right.
Oh, all right, no. All right, it says a 20. So she ran away, found in an apartment building, sleeping in the hallway when a 28-year-old man took her in, but later forcibly trafficked her to other men for sex. So maybe eventually, like, she was kind of like sold or traded over to this guy Brooks, and he had her for a while.
I don't know. This poor kid's life. It reminds me of, what's that movie? Traffic or something?
Well, there is a movie called Traffic.
Michael Douglas.
But that's sex. It's not about human trafficking. Sorry, not sex. That's about drugs. It's not about human trafficking.
His daughter.
Yeah.
Was human trafficked.
She wasn't.
The one from your favorite show.
She wasn't. She was sleeping with men
to get drugs.
To get the drugs. She didn't have money for drugs. But she wasn't owned by anybody. She wasn't being trafficked.
Yeah.
She was still going, she was still free, and like nobody told her to go sleep with guys. It was, I don't have money for drugs, so I'll sleep with you.
Okay.
That's a great movie. It's a tough movie, but it's a great movie.
Yeah, really tough.
Where's Liam Neeson when you need him?
Yeah. I will find you.
So, yeah, I don't know. I think this is great. I think it's great that she killed the guy. I think it's great that people are stepping up and covering her expenses and giving her more.
What an awful law on the books. That's awful.
Liam Neeson was a terrible parent. That shit happened 3 times.
I know, right? I know. Yeah, you don't lose a child once. You lost 3 times.
Well, yeah, that's like Home Alone. There's like 18 of those, right? So happy for her. Happy for this girl. Hopefully, I mean, you can't put a number on what she's been through.
No.
So hopefully raising some money is a nice start, because I would think having $170,000 left over in Iowa can buy you a house.
Yeah, maybe she'll feel a little safer in some way, just have like some money in the bank.
Maybe she have some money in the bank, get a nice place to live, and maybe not a house, but maybe not buy a house, but get yourself a nice safe place where you can then maybe take a trip or use the money for to get yourself started in life,
maybe
education
get out of that
or something.
town.
Oh, John says there's more to this story. Tell us, John. I don't have anything more than that. Or maybe she'll feel a little safer being chained to a chair in a basement, says Fronter.
Like, that's home.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, that's awful. That's awful. All right, so... yeah, John, if you have more, let us know. I'd like to hear that. Or is John just suspicious because he was a cop and he's seen this? I've seen this a million times.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a pretty bad story.
There's more here than meets the eye. Watson?
Oh, one other thing, back to like family or Kevin's back to school night. So we're walking in, like there's like usually like 1 or 2 vestibules that you gotta like walk through. And this lady, she's like, younger than me, and she's got like this like big, I don't know, easy a 20-ounce cup of Starbucks. Easy. Probably like a 24-ounce. And she's walking in. And all of a sudden she catches her foot on like the bottom of the thing. And I don't know whether... this is awful. But I will say that she did not get hurt. She did not get hurt. She lost the coffee, but she did not get hurt. She falls, and they must have, because it's parent night, they must have like just waxed the floor, because she hit the ground, and she hit it like she had like a sweater on, and she hits the ground, and she goes sliding, like there was like a pillar, and like she goes through like the vestibule, and her coffee's like this, and the coffee is like a spotlight kind of, like it just goes like and it starts from like there over and it goes flying, and she slid until she like landed into a pillar. And she actually even said to everyone, yeah, no, I mean, I actually, the pillar stopped me and it didn't hurt when I hit the pillar. But she slid for so long that we were all kind of like. And what's so funny is like no one laughed. I mean, obviously.
Why?
I don't know. She stood up. She felt really sad about her coffee. You know, people came with towels, cleaned it up. And then I go through like the whole night, and I come home, and I'm sitting on the couch, and I'm just catching up on my phone, and I just start to think about it. And all of a sudden, like in the middle of the living room, all by myself, I just start like cracking up to the point where like my eyes are like filled with tears. And I don't know why I didn't like crack up then. I think I was just like in such shock.
I would have been laughing right in her face.
But
that's the kind of prick I am. As long as you don't get hurt, I can't hold back laughing at stuff like that.
How far she slid was unreal. It was almost like, you know, like when you're kids and you take your, like a little kid and you take your kids from in the gym class and you take them by the foot and you just kind of like, whoosh, and they go like flying like that. She was like, woo! Anyway.
What, see, that just makes me think about things that have happened in public that make you laugh uncontrollably.
Like what?
Well, I think of a few things, actually. We've talked about some of these before, but I will bring them up again. I do think about this one time you and I went to a wake.
Yeah.
A Catholic wake, and we were sitting in the back, and a priest comes in to start that service. If you've been to Catholic wakes, I think a lot of wakes, they have those, not the funeral, but at the wake, the priest comes in and does a quick little like 15-minute service.
I do not go to Catholic wakes. Like, this is new to me, so that's why.
Priest comes in, he's doing his thing, you know, we're here today to honor so-and-so, and he's doing his thing, but then all of a sudden, you know, I don't know about other religions, but in the Catholic religion, they sing.
And they...
the Holy Spirit.
It wasn't that, though.
I don't know what it was.
It was like, it kind of, like, to me, it sounded like like an Irish jig song. Like he went up and down.
Awake is the wrong thing to call it if you're going to be sleeping for the rest of your life, says Andrew Fremder.
Yeah, I never thought of that.
Whatever he was doing. But, but of course he sings his little ditty, and now it's all quiet, except for the back of the room to my left. And sure enough, there's again, we're in the very back, the last row, so we're getting a lot of... One guy who we know but have had a falling out with, so we don't talk to him, he turned around, but I gave him the big stink eye right back.
Oh, good. You protected me.
Oh, yeah.
See, you defended me in my...
Prick.
My giggle.
Well, that was the only time. The rest of the time was like...
Yeah, I noticed you were just kind of like at one point you even looked at me. You did like one of these. You're like...
Oh, absolutely. Shut the fuck up.
But I couldn't... So then I was like... So then I just tried to make my... I knew, like, you know when you get to the point where you can't stop laughing, but
Yes.
you really, really want to?
Oh, I've been there a million times.
So I didn't know what to do, so I just panicked. So I started to, like, laugh, but just kind of, like, make my face sad so people would think that I was crying.
Didn't work.
I really thought it was working because I was like...
No.
And I thought, like, people would think, you know, oh, look, she's really taking this hard.
No.
And then I was, like, all proud of myself, and I told that to Tony, like, afterwards, and he's like, no.
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 Another one I can think of for myself. I was a teenager and I was walking through a store with my brother and our buddy Rob Safarth, and we get to the aisle, the end of the aisle, right? So I was about to walk out of the aisle when a guy come walking into the aisle. We almost walked into each other.
Okay.
But we stopped. But this guy had on the worst wig I've ever seen in my life. To this day, the worst wig.
I've seen really bad wigs.
And this one was up there.
Okay.
And so we're this close, and I just went, and he just kind of did one of these, and he just walked away. Oh my God, did I laugh my ass off.
Or when poor Davy Jones hurt himself.
That's another one. All you Monkey fans out there, if you know the Monkey song Valerie, that's the name of the song. Davy Jones was up on stage.
Valerie. No.
Did you just make that up?
No. Isn't there like
No,
another guy?
you're wrong.
Dun, 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 dun. Come on. Valerie.
Steve Winwood. sang
Yes.
the song. That was not what you were
Yeah,
just
oh,
saying.
it was totally that.
Totally not.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, exactly. It was
No.
exactly.
It was exactly wrong.
It's like almost like we're in karaoke. That's how exact it was.
Yeah, Davy Jones. It was 1989. I was seeing the Monkees, and the stage. We were in a venue here. It's called Westbury. Then it was called Westbury Music Fair, whatever it's called now. Westbury is like maybe a 15-minute drive west of here. The stage is in the round, so there's seats all around. The stage is in the middle.
And it moves.
Well, that had nothing to do with it.
Oh.
Davy Jones is singing a song, and Davy Jones. He's always, he's one of these. Hey, ha.
Yeah. He always annoyed me.
He annoys
Is that
me too.
bad? Because
No.
I know like you love the Monkees, but
I
he
do love
just
the Monkees,
annoys
but
me.
I do love the Monkees, and I've seen enough of Davy Jones where when he's not doing this shtick, I like him. He's
Yeah?
actually he was. I mean, he's been dead 10 years.
Isn't
but
he always though?
No, there are some light moments where he's not, or if you watch an interview or something and he's not. He's actually a very funny guy, but he's too busy doing this garbage. And a lot of his songs were cheesy, and I like the Monkees a lot, but I could have done without him.
Like remember that interview documentary they have, or that documentary on them, like when they were interviewing people to be in the Monkees, like you would have wanted someone else besides him, you think?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Or either that, or I would have said, "Hey, Davey, you're great, but don't do that." Like even the rest of the guys in the Monkees, like I collect a lot of their solo stuff, and except for him, I have like just a little bit of his solo work. But anyway, so he's doing all this, and he's running backwards while he's singing this song. And again, we're in the round, and he's not looking where he's going. He's just running backwards, and he completely tumbled off the stage. The whole place does a collective, and then there's silence, except for this guy who's laughing hysterically. Did
anyone else start laughing with you?
No.
Oh.
At the end of the song, because this was 1989, so for this particular song, he comes out and like, in the 80s, big hair bands were the thing of the day. Warrant and Motley Crue, David Lee Roth, Poison. So he comes out dressed like that for this song.
So him and his hair went tumbling.
Yeah, and his spandex. And so at the end of the song, he has this thing. He gets up. He's like, "Hey, where's the party, dude?" It's supposed to be funny. But Mickey Dolenz grabs a mic. He goes, "Where's the ambulance, dude?" And the place erupted.
Yeah. So did they laugh? Maybe they laughed.
No, it was funny because he went down. And it's, you got the stage and there's steps to get onto the stage. So he fell down the steps.
Oh, okay. I thought he fell right off the stage.
Well, off the stage, but down the steps.
Okay.
And security comes running from all different directions. He obviously, like anybody would be, was in shock when it happened. So
yeah, because you're airborne.
So he's laying there, and all of a sudden he sees these people running towards him, and he's got the mic still in his hand, and all of a sudden he just goes, "Ah!" He just screams into the mic.
And you don't even know why?
I think the guy was just in shock, and he didn't know what the hell was going on. Oh my God. Now I'll have to ask, because
sure,
Monday nights at 6:30 we have Steve Squared.
Yeah.
Now you have Steve K, who does most of the talking, and you have Steve M, his co-host.
Yeah.
Steve M, I've known Steve M since
you were a child.
like 1985, 1986, something like that. 15. I was 15 or 16. He's a little older than
Oh,
me.
you think he might have went?
No, I'm almost positive he was there. Because
Okay.
he's a big monkeys guy.
Okay. Yeah, he is.
So, I don't know. I don't, since before he started, before the Steve Square show started, it was at least 25 years since I had seen Steve M. Had no idea what even became of him. I know he had moved out to California for a while. I had heard he'd come back, but I hadn't really seen him. Didn't know much about him at all. So I was shocked when he came in to do that show. I was like, holy shit, Steve. And once in a while, we'll say something about the old days, or we'll talk, or even the last time you and I saw the Monkees, we saw him there.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever asked him about that.
Yeah. I'll ask him.
Because I would swear, because Steve, he worked at WPLJ for a while. He wasn't a DJ, but he worked there. So he had access to a lot of stuff. So he would get backstage passes and stuff. So I would swear it was him that said he was backstage that night and he heard Davey complaining he hurt his back from the fall.
Really? Yeah. Yeah, it'd be interesting to hear his story.
Ask him. Yeah, I keep forgetting to bring it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was, those are the type of things where I just.
So you would have laughed at this lady with the coffee.
Oh, I easily. She wasn't hurt.
She wasn't
definitely would've
hurt.
laughed.
That's the hard part I have. Like if they're hurt, I just go into like, oh, how can I help you mode. But like she skidded for so long that I had time to actually say, oh, that's interesting. Like that's how long she was like a cartoon. and and she like looked up on the pillow like, oh, that's why I stopped. Like I wonder, and this is where my like curiosity gets bad. Like I wonder if the pole wasn't there, how much further she would have gone. Like I want to know that.
Did she grab the pole and start swinging on it?
No.
Maybe that's why the pole saved her, because she had experience with a pole.
No.
I bet it
think
is.
so.
I bet it is.
Yeah.
I think I told you too. I once saw a kid run into a bus, a moving bus, and he got hurt.
On a bicycle, right?
No. No, hang on a second. He did get hurt, so I don't know why I laughed. All right, so I take that back. I'm a bigger prick than I thought. I'll laugh whether he get hurt or not. Yeah, he did. No, he was walking. He ran into a moving bus because he wasn't looking.
I've like
No, the bicycle was me. I rode my bike into a moving car.
I rode my bike into a parked car. I think that's worse.
No, I don't think
As
that's
far as
worse.
like being stupid. Like the car's right there and
Well, all right, I'll give
and
you
then
that.
and I was embarrassed about it my whole life. I think I was like, I don't know, 10 or something when I did it. I was just like riding along, like no hands. And I was talking to my cousin, Kim. She's on her bike. I'm like, la, 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 blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, and I like ran right into like the back of the car. I always remember that like my whole life. Like, what an idiot. And then I remember like teaching Sam how to ride a bike, which took, I don't know, I think it was 34 when he finally learned. So we'd be riding bikes together in like this one neighborhood just to like ride places and get used to it. And without a doubt, once a week he would like run into a car. Like I'd actually have
Once
to.
a week?
Yeah, like he would run into something. I don't know what it was, and I would actually have to say to him, he's like 7 or something, and I'd be like, all right, let's go take a ride. But don't ride into anything. Like, try not to ride into anything. Like, who was to say that? And he'd be like, okay, I'll try not to ride into anything with my bicycle. I'm thinking, I was so hard on myself. And this
Did he
kid's
not
doing it,
know
all the
that
time.
when he saw a car, he could actually go like this?
A tree. Like,
right.
he would
Did
ride
he not
into
know
a
he
tree.
could turn out of the way?
I don't know. Maybe because he had proprioceptive issues. So maybe he, thought it was there when it was really there.
He has no peripheral.
No, he doesn't.
I walked.
He doesn't. He just doesn't have because he was a bad preemie.
We went to one of Kevin's school concerts once, and Sam got up, and I don't even know where he went because I got up a minute later to go to the bathroom, and he wasn't there. But I come out of the bathroom, and there he is walking down the hallway.
Yeah.
We walked right past each other. I mean, we were a foot
Yeah.
apart, and he's just.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at him the whole time.
Right.
Nothing. And that scares me because I've passed him. I've seen him on the road too.
Yeah.
Same thing. He's just driving.
Well, it's good he's paying attention to the road
No,
and not
Dick.
who's around
You
him.
have to. Where'd you take driving lessons? You're supposed to be moving your eyes all the time. Check the mirror. Look in the, look
Well,
forward.
he's
look back.
not doing that. He's just not.
He was
I
totally
wonder
doing that.
who's-
That's what I'm saying. He was just like this.
Okay.
And no, you have to have your peripherals. You're supposed to look to see what's going
Yeah.
on around you.
Yeah.
He was just like this, driving straight. Not.
I thought you meant he didn't notice you were driving.
He never saw me.
Yeah. Well, he must see something, otherwise he'd be clanking into things, and he hasn't had an accident yet. It's been years.
I know. He's lucky.
So, he's got to be doing something right.
No wonder he climbs trees. He should just stay. He should be like Tarzan, just stay up there and just.
He just
jump
wants to
from
see
tree
what's
tree.
going on in the world. But yeah, I do. I noticed that, and I think there's actually some type of there's actually some type of no, I don't want to say disease, but I don't know what you call it. Just something about some people that they really don't see details of your face. My friend Karen Thompson has that. She has to really look at your face to see your face. So she'll.
As opposed to what?
I don't know.
This.
She doesn't zone in on people's features. So sometimes if you're in a
called
crowd,
not paying attention.
she won't notice. It's something. It's like some syndrome or something.
There's a syndrome where you can't. So.
Yeah.
So she doesn't know what you look like?
She said she if she's in a crowd of people, she has a hard time focusing on people's faces, and it's not a vision thing. She sees clearly. I don't know.
I've never heard of such a thing.
Yeah, has anyone ever heard of that?
Yeah, you guys know what she's talking about?
Maybe she was just bullshitting me because she didn't notice me, and I was like, "Hey, you didn't notice me?"
That's my guess.
Yeah, she made a syndrome
I have a syndrome, Sallie.
called no facey. What would it be called? No clear facey in my eyeball syndrome. I don't know. And I was like, "Oh, I feel really bad for you. Here, let me make you a
I
bundt
don't
cake."
give a shit.
Yeah. And meanwhile, the syndrome is I care so little that I don't even want to know who's in front of me, which really, with her personality, kind of makes sense.
Oh my goodness.
Don't you think? I'm not being hard
no,
on her.
I don't think much.
I'm not being hard on her. She
You're
would
not?
say the same thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sounds like you kind of were.
She was scrappy. I remember one time
Scrappy.
she went to a stop sign. She made a Tony Walker stop. Now I say that because Tony is actually one of the few people I know that actually stops at a stop sign and then continues. So she made a Tony Walker stop. 5 seconds later, a cop pulls her over. So here's the conversation.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, why are you pulling me over?" "Well, you didn't make a full stop at that stop sign." Karen goes, "Yes, I did." And the guy was like, "No, you didn't." "Yes, I did." What are you even doing?" And she just starts kind of mildly going off on the guy, and the guy let her go.
Right, because this is in your beloved Hingham,
Yeah.
Massachusetts.
Yeah.
That ain't happening down here.
What would happen down here?
Who the hell are you talking to like that? That's another ticket. Or I was going to let you go and just let you know you got to stop more. But since you're giving me attitude, you're getting the ticket.
Yeah, that's just
That's what happens
mean-spirited.
down here. It's not mean-spirited. It's teaching you to respect authority. You respect my authority. I thought my mom had the syndrome of not being able to see the details in the face, but then I realized I was ugly.
Maybe that's Karen too. She just can't make eye contact with me because she's so ugly. I just want to avert my eyes.
I used to, when I first started driving, I would do the same thing. If a cop
What?
pulled me over, I'd be like, "No, I stopped. No, I stopped." You can't do the cops, they're...
But she really did.
I know, but you can't. So, you know what I do now, and sometimes it works? I fess up. "Oh, you're right. I didn't stop. I wasn't sure. I definitely slowed down, but I wasn't sure." Or sometimes I'll say flat out, "Got me."
Really?
Oh, yeah, and then he'll say, "So if you knew, why didn't you slow down when you saw me?" "I didn't realize how fast I was going." Or I actually remember saying it once to a cop. He got me for speeding, because I passed him, and I saw him. So I was honest with him. I said, "Honest, I saw you, and of course I knew I passed you. I just wasn't thinking."
Yeah. And did you still get a ticket though?
There have been times I got out of it. There are times I haven't.
There's this joke where it's like this guy goes through, kind of rolls through a stop sign, and cop pulls him over, pulls him right out of the car, And he's like, no. First he says, he goes, you didn't make a full stop. And he goes, well, yeah, but I slowed down. So he pulls him out of the car and he starts like hitting him. He starts hitting him with like, the club.
Club?
Yeah.
Wow.
And he's like, ow, ow, ow. And he's like, I want to ask you, do you want me to stop or you want me to slow down?
Ah, ha, 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 ha. Is that your version of a street joke?
That's another mean-spirited thing.
You hate street jokes. I'm surprised you told
I
that.
hate most jokes. Yeah.
John says he pulled her over because she was hot. John, have you ever done that? Or do cops do that? Do they actually just pull somebody, a woman over because they just want to, they're like, oh, she's hot. Let me go
Yeah,
talk
does
to her.
that happen?
The other day on this show, we were talking about my friend Johnny Morelli.
You were.
Well, I have another Johnny Morelli story. Because Johnny Morelli, when I worked with him, I started working with him in 1992. He was around 25.
Okay.
Now, Johnny Morelli,
And you were how old then?
I was 22.
Okay.
Johnny Morelli was, back then, he was like, he had long hair. He was in shape. Even at work, I mean, we killed ourselves at work. We worked hard, and we got dirty every day, but he still wore cool clothes. Women loved him. And he was charming and funny. This guy, yeah, he was such a great guy. And I wouldn't believe this if I didn't see it. We were driving to a job once, and I'm behind him. He's driving a truck, I'm driving mine, and a cop is next to him in the left lane. For like half a mile, they're driving even. So I asked him when we got to the job, so what was that about? He goes, it was a female cop. She was all over me. But I think he was engaged at that time, or maybe even married at that point.
Wow.
So he didn't do anything. But yeah, it was a female cop. She was all over him.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's cool. That's like a porn.
Yeah, but kind of creepy. Like, I wonder who else she's doing that to.
No.
Yeah, like, I wonder if, like,
that's great.
If male cops do that, though.
And I did that once at the phone company, too. I got in trouble. I was at work, and I was having a problem with my prosthetic.
Okay.
And it was cutting up my right ass cheek.
Oh.
It was all cut up.
Oh.
So 2 days in a row, I went home early.
Because of your
I was in
cheek.
pain, yes.
Yeah.
So I went home early the first day. Second day, my boss wasn't in. So the guy that was sitting in for him, I told him what was going on. So I'm leaving. He was okay. I left. I get to my house. Now, the house I lived in at the time, only half the street had houses. The other half was just didn't. It was just like the backyards of the street behind the house behind us. So at the end of the street, I see this van, and I was big in the union, a union rep. So I dealt with the company all the time, and they had their own. The company had their own security, and they would go and follow people because we were working out in the field.
They thought you were lying or something?
Well, that was their job. They went out to catch people doing stuff out in the field that they shouldn't be doing, and in this case, they thought I had left early without authorization. So I see this van, and I did. I stopped, and I'm like, is this, security watching me? Because I've heard the stories. Again, I've had to represent people to the union of people who got nailed from the security, but I had never actually seen them in action.
Okay.
So I was like, I wasn't really sure. So I'm like, so I drive down there. This van, I mean, the windows were as black as this chair. I mean, you couldn't see a thing. I mean, I drove right up to it, right next to it. I'm just looking.
And you still couldn't look in?
I couldn't see anything. So I'm like, I'm just being ridiculous. So I went back. I went home and went inside. A week later, actually a few days later, my boss comes to me. He goes, I need you to fill out your timesheets again for last week. Okay. So right away I'm suspicious, and I go, why? He goes, there was a mistake made. He goes, you got to fill them out again. So I did it like an idiot. I did it. But I said to him, hey, look, there were a couple of days I left last week. I don't remember what days they were, which was the truth. I didn't remember. He goes, don't worry about it. I'll take care of that. So I fill them all out. Sure enough, this asshole, he doesn't do it. He puts me in for 8 hours each day. So now I'm lying on my timesheets.
And this is your boss that did it.
Oh, my boss was the boss I had at that time was a real prick.
Yeah.
So sure enough, two days after that, they're dispatching everybody out, and I'm told to stay. I'm like, why? Just hang out for a while. So that's when I knew.
Yeah.
I was like, all right,
Were
and I
they
knew it
setting you
immediately.
up?
Yeah, totally setting me up. Because
I want to go beat them up.
They didn't want me around as it was because of the leg. They just wanted me out because they didn't have a job for me, even though I could have done my job. I can go on all day with this, but so anyway, I go in. They finally tell me security's here. They want to talk to you. So I sit down with this guy, and first thing he says, he's trying to act all tough. He goes, "Where were you last Wednesday?" And I said to him flat out, I said, "You have to be more specific. I don't know what you're talking about. You know, the day you went home early."
And you're like, home?
So I go, oh, the day I left here early? I go, and I said to him, there were actually 2 days I left early. He goes, yeah.
Good for you.
He goes, we know. I go, is there a problem with that? He goes, well, you didn't think there was a problem when you drove up to our truck? So I started to laugh. I go, oh, was that you? I said, I freaking thought it was probably you, which is why I drove up to the truck. I said, but I thought I was crazy, so I went home. And you could see he was totally thrown by this. He's not used to somebody being honest.
Yeah.
Like, you know, guys are usually like, no, I was home. I wasn't, I didn't do it, So you could see it all over his face. So I just explained, said, no, man, I told the guy I was leaving, and, But it was just, it changed the whole tone of the whole conversation. And this guy was also security at Citi Field.
Huh.
So I would sometimes see him there.
Oh, really?
And I would bust his balls. His name was Dave. I go, Dave, I said, who's in trouble for nothing today here at the stadium? And stuff like that.
Did you really?
And after a while, he would just start to laugh. He was like, yeah, I got you, Yeah. And there were a couple times, I would go to the games with guys I work with.
Yeah.
But we took the actual day off. But
Right.
we would go up, oh, Dave, you got us. We're not at work today. And he'd be like, oh, and he was totally cool about it. So he actually turned out to be a good guy. But
yeah.
But yeah, I just, they don't know what to do when you're honest like that. They're used to people arguing. No, I
Yeah.
didn't do that. I wasn't speeding. I wasn't doing this. And then I even said to the guy too, because I explained to him why I was going home, and I still had a bandage on my ass at that time when I was sitting with this
Want
guy.
to see my ass?
I did that.
Here, can you look at
I
look
did
at my
that.
ass?
I go, look, if you don't believe me, I still have a cut on my ass. It's still bandaged up. And I stood up and I grabbed my belt. And he goes, just like this. No.
No, really? No.
I wasn't lying.
Look at my ass.
And then I had heard through the grapevine, because it was shortly after that I left. And then we had a couple of years of trying to figure out what my retirement would be. But I had heard through the grapevine that they were going to fire me based on that incident. But I never,
Unreal.
once that decision was supposedly made, I had never gone back.
Yeah, if anyone thinks like unions aren't worth it, let me tell
Yeah.
you that your union saved you and a lot of other people. Remember the time we were at Citi Field? Speaking of like saying things out loud to
Well,
security.
theft of service, that's right, John. But that's not what I did.
Yeah. We were at Citi Field and we're standing online, and we saw on opening day, we saw Kevin's like 6th grade teacher.
Oh, yeah. What did I yelled? What did I say?
You just talked out loud to me really, really loud. Like you recognized him because me and you just.
Meanwhile, I never met the man.
You did. Remember we.
I thought I just recognized him from a picture or something.
We went to his back to school night in 6th grade.
Oh, okay. Is that what it was?
Yeah. And so.
But he wouldn't know me for a hole in the wall.
No. But he kind of did once we started talking to him. But
I told him who I was.
Yeah. So, but you would recognize him there, and then we're at Citi Field, and you see him, and so you just talk out loud, like really close to him. You like something like, I don't know, how in the world are the kids learning at Birch Lane in Massapequa when none of the teachers show up to work or something like that? And then all of a sudden, like I see him, it was funnier than I'm gonna do, so I apologize. But like all of a sudden you see like the guy who's like standing in line, and all of a sudden he goes. And then he goes, every year I take this day off. They all know. And you were just really cute with him. It was funny.
All right, now I got a complaint.
With me?
No.
Oh, good.
So the other day, as we know,
What?
was 9/11.
Yes.
And, tough day for a lot of people. It's weird. I thought I had it in my notes here.
Especially in New York. Like,
there it is.
like me and the kids were in California at the time in 9/11. And then, but when we moved back here, that was one of the things that I said to them. I'm like, because, it's already hard enough for, like, kids born, right around 9/11 or after 9/11. They don't really understand the magnitude when they're going through their day. Like, it really hits us. Like, it hits us like when Kennedy was shot, and times a billion. So, like, but I've said to them, you are now living in New York, and there are quite possibly kids in your class that their mom or dad didn't come home that day. It's so different than living in going to
Devastating.
school in Texas or something.
Devastating for the whole country, but I'm sure, where the plane went down and then by the Pentagon and here, it's definitely felt more. Like you said, we know a lot of people. But one thing, we talked about it quickly the other day, how there are now adults, people over, it's been 21 years. So
Yeah.
if you were born that year or since, it's just weird. I was saying how weird it is how we have adults now who have no recollection of 9/11. It's just crazy to me how fast time goes.
Mm-hmm.
So so that gets me thinking about things like, like when we remember, say, Pearl Harbor or even President's Day, where things, because most people now weren't around for Pearl Harbor, so we don't really feel, we know it was a sad day and it's awful what happened, but we don't have that connection to it. And it's, a lot of these things have just become holidays.
Or history.
History, but again, they become holidays where,
Oh,
again,
is that
'cause
your complaint?
we don't really feel whatever it is we're supposed to be honoring that day, and we just see it as a day off, and we go to a party or we sleep in, whatever it is. So there's a restaurant in Virginia. We have a picture.
Oh, I saw this.
Right.
No, I actually, yeah. All right, let me see. Keep talking, because it'll take me a second.
So there's a restaurant in Virginia that that had some specials.
Mm-hmm.
3-2 to Mookie Wilson.
I actually have...
Little roller up along
Mookie
first.
Wilson.
Behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, but you want to try the picture again?
I don't know. I feel like it's going to be on the Mookie thing.
Get rid of the Mookie thing. Unsee it. Right, now go to the picture.
Got it. Okay, cool.
All right, but they don't see us. But that's fine.
No, but that's all right.
Fine. So this restaurant in Virginia has had all this 9/11 related specials the other day. Oh, all right.
Oh, what's going to make it easier for you? I thought you wanted to, like...
I thought you were going to...
I could actually read something and I'll put it on. Do you want me to do that?
Yeah, do that, yeah.
So it's Patriot Day.
Well, throw it over like that.
It's Patriot Day in Virginia in this one restaurant, and for Seafood Sunday. So they want you to make reservations, and the things that they want you to do are they're selling 6 for $8 Pentagon pie and Freedom flounder and 9/11 oysters, and it kind of like goes on like that forever. Let me see if never forget sampler. Remember tiny. What's that even mean? I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, but I saw this. This is just awful.
It's awful and disgusting, but
Ew, first responders flatbread. Yeah, crazy.
but that's my point. Like, this is awful, but again, that we're just getting mad because we were a part of, because we have a connection. Like I think it's a shame that we take a lot of holidays and turn them into just something to have a sale over. Like, think about it. President's Day. And there's actors or cartoons of Washington and Lincoln. Here's a special on the cars we're selling. Like,
Yeah, washer dryers.
I mean, that to me, it's un-American and disrespectful. And this is falling right in line with it. But I don't know why, what did you expect? Of course this was going to happen. It happens for every holiday.
Oh, it's awful.
So
It just kind of sickens me, though.
it sickens me too, but at the same time, I'm not surprised, and I don't think anybody should be. This restaurant did pull it, and they have apologized, but they're still idiots in my opinion. Plus, they're not the only ones. There were, I forget what 9/11. 9 plus 11 is 20. So that was it. In 2020, I forget what what they were selling, but that was actually an ad. 9 plus 11 is 20. It's 2020. We got specials, to celebrate 9/11 on whatever the product was.
Celebrate.
It's it's ridiculous.
It's such in bad taste that I actually thought it was fake at first, like fake news, like things just to like get people going.
No,
I
that's
mean,
real.
I mean, I don't know why you'd need to like get going for 9/11 because it really, I think every year forever we're gonna. How do you not be affected by it?
But that's my point. Every year forever?
Yeah,
You mean you're forever, or just forever in general?
forever in general.
But that's not what's happened. Like I said, Memorial Day, Labor Day, we're not Columbus Day. We're not, I mean, there's Columbus Day parades, but we don't really go out and, you don't really take in what something, or again, Pearl Harbor Day, you don't think about, people our age don't really think about what happened because it's before our time. We're not attached to it. 50 years from now, when it's 70 years past 9/11, and most people on Earth are not attached to it, they don't have a connection, it'll probably be a national holiday at that point where people are off, and there'll be sales, car sales. There'll be more restaurant specials like that.
It makes me really sad. I mean, and that's why like Memorial Day, like people make such a big deal about it because it is about, honoring troops and stuff. So you'd think that.
Right. Veterans Day. People, you don't sit around on Veterans Day and, you don't. There's no celebrate. I mean, there are TV specials.
You're not supposed to
You know
celebrate.
what I mean?
You're just supposed to take a
Well,
moment.
honor.
Oh, sorry, I'm just playing with the cord.
Honor them, is what I
You're
mean.
supposed, but it can't be like a whole day thing. But it's you do think about it.
Why not? That's why we're off.
Yeah.
That's why it's a national holiday. I mean, it doesn't have to be, like you said, I'm not saying it should be an all-day event, but most people aren't. They're not even thinking about what the day is. They're just, I'm off today.
Yeah.
Because they're not attached to it.
But you
So
don't do that to anything. Like let's say
Sure you do.
let's say Christmas.
Right.
You might wake up in the morning and say, "Happy birthday, Jesus." But you don't think all day long,
I'm going to
Jesus,
strongly disagree with that.
Jesus saved our...
Most people, at least, I shouldn't say most, but there's a good percentage of people in this world who have some kind of Christian-based views, religious views. So, and they celebrate Christmas all day by going to church, by praying. We all get our family together, and we exchange Christmas gifts.
Yeah.
So while we don't make it an all-day thing, but we do celebrate gifts, or give each other gifts, we celebrate together. But that's all we do. But then again, you have people who go to church, people who pray, and there are people that go to church for hours on Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
So I disagree with that.
I think most people don't, though. Even if they are, a part of a church, they're like,
but they're still,
they move on with their day in the middle of the day. It's not an all-day event. They're happy that they're
but
off,
there's still,
and it's like moments.
there's still a celebration involved. You take something like Veterans Day, most people, they don't give any thought into what that day is.
Yeah.
Right. People go to midnight mass, right, John? But even that too, even Christmas, it's a special day for most people. Where to a huge chunk of people, it's nothing but sales.
Yeah.
And and gifts when that's not the point of it at all.
And making a dinner for your family.
Right.
Yeah. I hear you.
So that's that, and that restaurant, and then John said he's upset with the people that patronize that restaurant. I agree.
It's a big mistake.
I mean, I'm a big supporter. Like if that was like we have a few restaurants that we like to go to that we're regulars at. If that would be hard for me if a place I went to regularly had a special like that. That would be tough. I'll be honest, John, I don't know if I would stop going there. But I think that I would actually say to them, I would grab the placemat or the ad and print it out. I'd be like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, I would.
And I would make fun of them for a very long time.
Yeah, but then
Thanks for the burger.
After a while, like after 5 years later, they said they were sorry, so you'd get over it.
Yeah, but it's a pretty big.
It's a bad mistake.
Yeah, it's a pretty bad mistake.
It's a bad mistake.
Yeah. Did you see the line for the Queen? There was the line is 3 miles long.
She's still laid out. They haven't. They have the funeral. What, Monday?
Well, this was as of yesterday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's nice. I mean, people just want to, say goodbye and pay their respects.
Yep.
She worked hard for decades.
How was Hershey and the Keegs the other night?
It was funny. Yeah, they were good.
They were off for a week. They were on this week. Now they're off again this coming week, right?
Yeah, then and after this coming week, they'll be on regularly. They just, maybe it's just the end of the season, end of the summer, getting things going.
Speaking of Mike Keegan.
Oh.
Our very own Jeff Bosey and his buddy Rich Rada, former hosts of No Rhyme, No Reason, they have put together a No Rhyme, No Reason show, live show. Like, not in here live, like an actual live stage production comedy show.
Okay.
No Rhyme, No Reasons presents a night of comedy with Rich Rada, Jeff Bosey, Mike Keegan, and some other great comedians. So that'll be fun. So go check that out. That'll be fun. Mike Keegan and Rich and Jeff. Rich, I believe Rich is hosting. Jeff is going to do a set. So it's nice to see Rich and Jeff back together. Jeff, whose name flies around here regularly. He's here almost every night for Live from the Green Room. Mm-hmm. Rich Rada starting a new show next week.
Yes, Wednesday.
Carla Okerson and Tim Saliani.
Mm-hmm.
Why Are You Like This is the name of the show. Next Wednesday at what time?
I believe it is
7?
7.
Because Joan Asher emailed me yesterday asking me what time.
Okay.
And I told her that. I said, I think it's 7, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But, that'll be fun to have our old friends, Carla, Tim, and Rich back.
Yeah.
And then November 5th, Jeff and Rich are putting together a comedy show here in the Giggle Room at Governor's in Levittown with Mike Keegan and a few other great comedians. Go to govs.com.
And you telling me last night how like thrilled you are with Jeff and your murder mysteries.
Jeff has been doing a fantastic job in our murder mysteries. If you're in our area, please come see us. We have a lot of fun, and we have talented people like Jeff that'll make you laugh.
Is this the second role he's gotten?
Third.
Okay.
Jeff
Talia and what else?
He plays Talia in our mob show. He plays Clarabelle in a Redneck Wedding.
Oh,
and
that's
now
right.
he's playing a character named Versace in our 80s themed reunion, high school reunion show.
He's going to be great at that.
He really is. We've just started rehearsal. Yeah, Jeff's been performing with us. It's actually almost a year already.
And he's never been an actor before. It's crazy to me how good he is.
Yeah. He's really been a
He's
pleasant
really
surprise.
good.
Not that I thought he was going to be bad, otherwise I wouldn't have asked him. But he has been better than I thought he'd be.
Yeah.
and he's getting better and better.
Yeah.
So now we're rehearsing for this 80s reunion, this 80s high school theme thing. So it's a new role for him, and yeah, he's nailing it. And we've only had a handful of rehearsals, and he's nailing it. He's going to be great.
You should actually talk about that right now if you want.
Our 80s themed murder mystery show, October 28th here at Governor's in the Giggle Room. So 2 weeks in a row, you can see Jeff Bosey in the Giggle Room. October 28th with Knockem Dead Comedy, performing our 80s themed high school murder mystery. In time for Halloween, you get a murder. In time for Halloween, you get costuming. So it's an 80s themed show. Wear your 80s costumes or wear any costume you want. There's going to be a costume contest. There's going to be music and dancing. Going to be a lot of laughs and a murder. All of this is really fitting for Halloween. So come have a great time with us. And you're going to love it. And Governor's has great food as well. The ticket price is only $22 per person. That includes the show. And it's a 2-item minimum, of course, but they have great food if you want to get anything. It's just going to be a blast. We're going to have an absolute blast at this show, so we're really looking forward to it. Jeff Bosey, myself, Eric Shevlin, of course.
Sallie on sound.
Sallie on sound. Liz Jeffrey, who you guys remember Liz Jeffrey? She was on our show a long time ago. She was the one who was adopted and then found out Christmas of last year? No, I think it was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Where she found out Christmas Day, she was contacted by 2 people who turned out to be a brother and a sister, and she found out she was one of 10. It's amazing. She's in that show. Linda Bartolomeo, who's been in here a couple of times with us. It's just going to be a fun show all around.
Right.
Greg Halverson, who's a local actor. I think I've named everybody at this point. It's going to be a lot of fun. Come check that out. That's October 28th. Go to govs.com. So October 28th, you'll see Jeff in the Giggle Room with us. The very following weekend, you'll see him again in the Giggle Room performing stand-up with his pal Rich Rada and Keegan and some other great people. Go to govs.com. Make your reservations for both those shows. Check out their full schedule at govs.com. This weekend, Mike Cannon, John Ziegler, Nick Coletti, Terry McNeely, Orson Brooks, Rob White, Fat J, Courtney Otera, Goomba Johnny, Mick Thomas, and a whole bunch of other comedians playing at one of your favorite Governor's comedy clubs this weekend. So go to govs.com, find out what's going on, make your reservations. Again, October 28th, Knockem Dead Comedy in the Giggle Room. Go to knockemdeadcomedy.com, check out our schedule. October 29th, we're actually performing 2 shows. We'll be in Massapequa, American Legion, that afternoon, and then we'll be at Peppercorns in Hicksville that night. We have a show at the Bellport Brewing Company the 24th of September. We have we're at the Nesconset Library, Nesconset Fire Department, I believe it is.
I love fire department shows.
I think it's Nesconset. We got a bunch of stuff coming up. So go to knockemdeadcomedy.com, check out our schedule, find out information on who we are and what we do, and information on how you can hire us for your event. Special event, private event, public event, corporate event, fundraiser event, and an event. knockemdeadcomedy.com. And of course tonight. So tonight you're in here.
I'm in here at 6 o'clock with Joey Petroni.
Is it live or are you recording?
I am not sure. So tune in if you see us on. We'll be on Facebook and YouTube.
Right.
And
we'll let you know if.
It could just be that he's recording it and then he wants to play it next Tuesday when he's normally on.
If it's going to be live, I will post something later telling you guys that it's going to be on.
Okay.
And then we're back here tomorrow.
Yep.
Are you here?
Yeah.
Oh. Me, Sallie, and Andy. Tomorrow is Friday, so we'll be here. If you would like to do your own podcast, if you watch this podcast every week or every day and you're like, hey, There's some great shows there. That's a cool looking studio. Hey, that's at Governor's. They have funny people there. Well, you can do your own podcast here, whether it's on our platform or you want to do something yourself. We can hook you up right here. So get in touch with us through our Facebook page, which is called Gov's Comedy Club Podcast. Let us know, and we'll get you hooked up. Even if it's not a podcast, you just need to record a commercial, or you need to record something for work, or a public service announcement.
Yeah.
Or you want to just send a personalized message to somebody. We'll hook you up. Get in touch with us. Great show, guys, says John Rusiello.
Oh, thanks, John.
Thank you, pal. Is that including me, says Fremder? Is what including you? What, you want to do your own show? Yeah, of course you can.
Imagine Fremder.
They're Fremder Fridays. He should do a show. I mean, you got to pay. But yeah, well, if you want to pay to do a show, yeah. Sallie will engineer it.
Yeah.
You guys can talk about dogs. Okay, cool. So that's the story. I believe that's all the announcements. Thank you guys for hanging out with us today. Thank you for coming over to Twitch with us. Please share our show and get everybody over here to Twitch as we try to raise our exposure here. We're trying to build our following and make a little cash. All right. Thank you, guys. Sallie, Andy, and I will see you tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday, and we'll let you know if Joey Petroni's on tonight. All right, we'll see you later.